Not every villain in the Squid Game needed a mask or a tragic backstory. Some were just regular men with jobs and a complete lack of ethics. Mr. Choi and Captain Park weren't players, but they were chaotic in their own way. So, in the spirit of administrative failure and individual poor choices, let's go through their crimes, one at a time. Starting with Mr. Choi. Before Squid Game even began, Mr. Choi was already testing the limits of legality. He wasn't gambling, stealing, or running scams in secret. He was running a loan business, if you can call it that. The kind where people borrow small amounts and somehow owe triple by the end of the month. There were no contracts, no paperwork, and definitely no customer service. Just threats, intimidation, and interest rates that could cause heart failure. If someone missed a payment, Mr. Choi didn't send reminders. He sent men. Polite conversation wasn't part of the package. This wasn't banking. It was legalized extortion with a calculator. That's loan sharking, and under any functioning legal system, that's 4 years in prison. And considering this is how his professional history starts, things are clearly not going uphill from here. In Season 2, Choi isn't trying to lay low or stay out of trouble. Instead, he gets involved in a full-time manhunt. Alongside a group of loan sharks, he starts tracking down the salesman, the guy in the suit who hands out slaps and business cards like it's a loyalty program. What begins with a few phone calls turns into months of hanging around subways asking questions and watching strangers a little too closely. He isn't law enforcement, he isn't even subtle. He's just very determined and extremely nosy. This isn't an investigation. It's stalking with a loose dress code and personal motivation. That's 5 years in prison for treating public transportation like a surveillance op. And with Choi now fully committed to illegal side quests, his record keeps growing. Back at the hideout, things take a strange turn. After Gi-hun's encounter with the salesman ends in a very dead salesman, Junho shows up, sees the body, and immediately goes into cop mode. He's ready to arrest Gi-hun on the spot. Choi takes one look at the situation and decides now is the time to take control. So naturally, he grabs a fire extinguisher and knocks Junho out cold. No negotiation, no conversation, just a full swing to the head. This isn't some noble act of intervention. It's not even smart. It's obstructing an active investigation and physically assaulting a police officer, which is a 2-for-1 special in terms of charges. That's obstruction of justice, which earns him 1 year, and assaulting a law enforcement officer, which adds another year. All because he didn't want to wait 5 minutes for due process. But this is only the beginning. In Season 3, Choi becomes convinced that Captain Park is hiding something. Instead of gathering evidence the normal way, he decides to take a shortcut straight through the front door. He drives to Captain Park's house, jumps the fence like that's a regular thing people do, and breaks in without a second thought. No key, no knock, just one man on a mission to confirm his own theory with zero legal backing. That's trespassing, 1 year in prison, and a $1,000 fine. And now, along with stalking subway platforms, Mr. Choi can add breaking into coworkers' homes to his resume. And once Choi gets inside, things don't exactly calm down. Inside the house, he starts looking around and finds a photo of Captain Park. It's not evidence, but he stares at it like he just uncovered a deep conspiracy. While he's distracted, a chained-up guard dog manages to break free and rushes in. There's a struggle. They both end up on the floor. Choi, completely unprepared for anything involving basic consequences, pulls out a gun and shoots the dog. It's not self-defense training, it's panic and poor judgment. That's animal cruelty, which gets him 2 years in prison. And after shooting a dog in a house he wasn't supposed to be in, Mr. Choi continues to investigate in the least helpful way possible. After shooting the dog, Senior Choi continues wandering around the property like everything is still going fine. Outside, he finds a hidden compartment under the dog cage. Inside it is a pile of cash and what looks like a guard uniform from the Squid Game. He starts sifting through it, not documenting, not calling it in, just touching everything like it's a yard sale. Before he can get much further, the police show up and tell him to freeze. Whatever his plan was, it doesn't matter. He's now inside someone's house handling stolen money. That's burglary, and it would get him 5 years in prison. And with that, Choi's investigation ends the way most of his choices do, with a new charge. But he keeps adding more to it. At the station, Choi tries to explain himself. He talks about the dog, the photo, the hidden money, and the conspiracy. He's halfway through his version of events when the officer interrupts and starts reading off his record. Kidnapping, false imprisonment, assault, trespassing, threats, extortion, also killing a dog. Suddenly, his big discovery doesn't sound so noble. Those prior convictions add up to 30 years in prison. At this point, Choi isn't a whistleblower. He's just a man who broke into a house and accidentally reminded the police he's already done plenty of time-worthy things. But Choi is not doing anything to make it better. He is making it worse. While being questioned at the station, Choi keeps asking to make a phone call. No one agrees. He asks again. Still no. Then the moment he gets the chance, he snatches his phone off the officer and bolts, not far, just enough to make things annoying. While running, he calls Junho mid-escape to warn about Captain Park. The police catch up quickly, but Choi refuses to let go of his phone. He holds on to it like it's going to grant him immunity. It takes multiple officers to get him to finally drop it. That's resisting arrest, 3 months in custody. And that officially concludes Choi's commitment to solving crime by committing several. After serving his time, Choi is released. He immediately returns to track down Gi-hun's missing money, but it's gone. With nothing left to chase, he rents a building and decides to start a business of his own, which is probably legit now. And with that, his story ends. As we finish up, Choi's full list of crimes includes loan sharking with 4 years, stalking with 5 years, obstruction of justice with 1 year, assaulting a law enforcement officer with 1 year, trespassing with 1 year and a $1,000 fine, animal cruelty with 2 years, burglary with 5 years, and resisting arrest with 3 months. On top of that, his prior convictions for kidnapping, false imprisonment, assault, threats, and extortion add 30 more years to the total. In all, that's 49 years and 3 months in prison, a $1,000 fine, and an arrest record long enough to qualify as its own limited series. This was all for the crimes of Choi. Now let's move into our next character, Captain Park. Captain Park doesn't waste time with threats. He jumps straight to violence. While on the boat, he finds one of his own men, someone working with him and Junho, and without hesitation, kills him. No reason, no warning, just pure cruelty. Killing someone without cause, especially your own crewmate, that's murder, no question about it. And the law treats it with the seriousness it deserves. If caught, Captain Park would be facing a life sentence for murder. But Captain Park's crimes only get worse from here. When the team searching for the island starts making progress, Captain Park doesn't feel inspired. He feels threatened. So naturally, he calls the front man for advice, hoping for a strategy that doesn't involve mass violence. What he gets is a clear instruction to kill everyone if things go wrong. Captain Park doesn't hesitate. He agrees like someone confirming a lunch order. That's not protocol. That's conspiracy to commit murder. 15 years in prison for treating worst-case scenario like it's the default setting. And that marks just the beginning of his crisis management style. Later, while snooping through his house, Mr. Choi finds a stack of photos, all featuring Captain Park standing next to the recruiter and other key figures from the Squid Game. They're not party photos, they're evidence. Captain Park wasn't a bystander. He was involved visibly, repeatedly, and comfortably. Based on the people he's pictured with, it's clear he wasn't just nearby. He was part of it. That makes him an accessory to mass murder. 1 life sentence added for being connected to a system where most people left in body bags. And it turns out, his job description may have been more deadly than it looked. Once Captain Park realizes Mr. Choi has uncovered his connection to the Squid Game, he doesn't panic, he doubles down. First, he contacts another boat and orders everyone on board to be killed. Then, just to stay on theme, he grabs a gun and starts clearing out his own ship. No questions, no hesitation, just methodical elimination of every mercenary around him. That's mass murder. 6 people dead means 6 life sentences. At this point, Captain Park isn't just cleaning up evidence, he's clearing the deck entirely. After the massacre, Captain Park reloads and approaches the last man still moving, the leader of the mercenaries, crawling on the ground. He raises his gun to finish the job, but before he can pull the trigger, Junho arrives and shoots him with a harpoon. Captain Park survives the hit briefly, long enough for Junho to interrogate him. When asked why he did it, Park gives the classic answer: he was just following orders. Apparently, someone told him to do whatever it takes to protect Junho. According to him, that second chance came from the top. He says it's been fun, thanks Junho, and dies on the floor of the boat. And that's where his story ends. As we finish up, Captain Park's full list of crimes includes conspiracy to commit murder with 15 years in prison, accessory to mass murder with 1 life sentence, and direct involvement in mass murder with 6 life sentences. In total, that's 7 life sentences, 15 years in prison, and a personal body count that made corporate loyalty look like a full-time hazard. This was all for the crimes of Captain Park and Mr. Choi. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on the screen now.